Peace to the family. Peace to the family. How's everybody doing in the chat? It's going to be an amazing show tonight. I want y'all to get comfortable. As usual, hit the like button. Tell your friends and family it's going down tonight. I got a legend, a living legend in the building. As usual, before I bring my guests on, we're gonna get to a quick commercial. So we'll do that. In the meantime, tell your friends and family, hit the like button. It's going down tonight. All right, family, we'll be back in 1 second. All right, just glad that y'all here. Y'all joining. Okay, be right back, family.
It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now.
All right.
Move it over. The whole thing? Right there. Right here. Just turn it down. Good. Just adjusting my.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time, brother. Let the brother adjust what he has to adjust as far as technology is concerned. Everything's going to be worth the wait tonight. We'll be on for a little over an hour tonight, family. So, yeah, it is what it is. Thanks for joining us, though. I definitely appreciate everybody coming out tonight on this Wednesday night. We just had Wayne Chandler yesterday, so I'm glad y'all came out tonight to enjoy this. You ready to get started, brother?
I'm ready.
All right. So without further ado, family, this is the first time this brother's on the show. Let me just tell you a little bit about this brother for the younger brothers and sisters in the audience who may not know. Neferman is the founder and chief priest of the Solstice Society. That society is dedicated to providing Afrocentric based spiritual training to people of African descent, focusing on Kemetic philosophy and spiritual culture. This brother is also a trained concert pianist, a composer. I mean, he has authored over 40 works, over 100 musical compositions. He's also known as Shechem. I hope I said that right. But the brother is a living legend, and it's a pleasure for me to finally get him on the show. I want to thank the sister Monique from Nicholas for assisting me in getting him on the show. Without further ado, Neferman, welcome to the platform, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. So, wow, we got a short amount of time, but a lot to talk about. I want to start out. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what exactly is your mission here in terms of your movement and everything that you got going on right now, my brother?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and peace and blessings to your audience. And well, a little bit about myself. I'm the head of a organization called the Solstice Society.
Mm-hmm.
We have 50 years, completing our 50 years this year. And I started the society to provide spiritual guidance, especially to African Americans and Black people around the world. Because the thing is that, you just cannot put spiritual teaching in a book.
Yes.
And tell people to go for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You got to help them provide a structure, a social framework, so that they can have the support and the rewards, of a group activity. So in a nutshell, that's what I've been doing, and I've been blessed, to be able to broaden our teachings. We have chapters, over 40 chapters around the world. We're an international organization. And most of the members have been with us for the 50, 40, 25 years and so. So that is, gives us that expertise to assist, people with the spiritual work.
Indeed. I'm still here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So What I want to know is to the name of tonight's show. I titled it Kamitic Solstice Meditations. Then in parentheses, I talked about the untold story of 14 chakras. To start out with simply, I want to know, why do you spell? I've been studying and researching Kemet for a very, 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 very long time, brother. To start out with, very simple question. Why do you spell Kemet differently from the way I've been studying and researching Kemet for the last 15 years? Why do you spell it the way that you spell it? There has to be a science behind that, my brother.
And I spell it Kamit.
Yes.
Kam,
yes.
Because that's the way the Egyptians spelled it. It's the way they wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are books, you know, like, are you going to go from?
It's a little choppy. It's a little choppy, okay? It's a little choppy.
Yeah. Let me see if I can adjust the audio here. That's the way the ancient Egyptian wrote the word, Kamit. And Kam means black.
Mm-hmm.
So Kemet means the land of the blacks. You see? And Kam in Egypt, you know, corresponds to the Ham in the Bible, you know, the son of the black son of Noah. It's Ham,
Mm-hmm.
and his sons were Mitzrayim, which is Egypt. That's according to the Bible. Okay, so I spell it Kam because that's the way the ancient Egyptians wrote it. And black, and in their books, the name for themselves is Kam-O, meaning black people.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's a simple answer. That's the way to spell it.
Real quick, as far as the echo, do you have multiple computers on?
No, I only have one computer on here.
Just the one you're using, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's not that bad, but I can hear it. I just was wondering if you had more echoes on. I mean, more computers on. So let's get started. So, like I said, Kamitic Solstice Meditation. You have this program, and you talk a lot about, and you emphasize. Number one, you emphasize the importance that there's more than 7 chakras. You talk about how when the Aryans invaded India, they purposely left some of the so-called chakras out. So we got to talk about that. And we also got to talk about the solstice that we're about to experience. When we refer to the holy days, a lot of people think about the Christmas season, but it goes way deeper than that. And you explain that, and you go in depth in that, and how important it is that to our biological avatar that we call the human body. So let's start out with, since we're in December, today is December 20th. Let's start out with the winter solstice. What should we as a people, modern times, know about the solstice that our ancestors in antiquity knew about solstice that we may not know, and that you teach in your program, my brother? Please.
Very good beginning here.
Yes.
Because tomorrow is the beginning of the solstice, right?
Oh, perfect time.
The 21st.
Yes.
Now, let's start with why the solstice is so important.
Yes.
When we go into Egypt, we find that the Great Pyramid of Giza by the King Khufu, which is the largest pyramid ever built. The question is, why was it built? The cost of that pyramid would be measured in billions of dollars in today's money. You see? Mm-hmm. That pyramid is a clock. It's a celestial clock.
Celestial clock. Amazing.
Yes. It's a way of marking time so that they will know when a specific date that was very important came about.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest accomplishments of ancient civilizations, ancient Egypt, ancient Black India, you know, the Taoist people of China and so on, was the discovery of the biocycle. Every function in our body, our psyche, our mind, spirit, is on a biological, psychological clock.
Uh-huh.
Meaning that, you know, let's take your blood pressure. Your blood pressure doesn't remain the same all day long or all year long. It fluctuates. It waxes and wanes. See that your blood pressure, you know, reaches its maximum around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and its lowest point around 3 a.m. in the morning. And that is true for all of our functions, the wax and the wane. Your ability to get the best, restful sleep, the ability to digest your food, all of these things move up and down in a cyclical manner. Now, what the ancient Egyptians and ancient civilization considered to be most important was your ability to grow spiritually and your ability to achieve your goals in this world. Those abilities don't move in the same way every day of the year. They go up and they go down cyclically within the period of the year. And there's a time to impress your psyche, okay, which is the executive part of your being. Your psyche is the part of your being that carries out your will, your dictates, your mandates. It's the part that executes your desires, your plans, your projects. And the time of the year that your psyche is most receptive to receiving these mandates from your will is the winter solstice.
Okay.
Meaning that the 3 months of the winter, beginning tomorrow, the winter solstice, the next 3 months, your psyche will focus, you see that, on renewing your plans. You see that we will focus on resetting your mind and your body to help you to better carry out your plans and so. That's why people who equate the the function of the winter solstice with January 1st, the new year, meaning that the people who ancient people celebrated the solstice, that was their new year.
Oh,
The new year for ancient people was the end of the solstice, which is December 25th. The Romans changed the calendar and made the new year January 1st. But that is why people today have this belief that you must pledge to be different, to be better, to have a better life at the new year, because that is when your psyche becomes most receptive to being impressed and impregnated with your desires, your plans, and your objectives for the year. You see that? If you begin to plan your year, let's say on March the 5th, it's too late. Your psyche is not ready, already past that receptivity time. You see that? Okay, now it's March, starting March 21st, your psyche for the next 3 months is ready to improve its ability to carry out and execute your plans. But the winter months is when the psyche begins to receive the messages to change your life for the year.
You're saying psych? You're saying psych? What are you saying? You're saying psych?
P-S-Y,
C
right?
H.
Psych,
Yeah.
P-S-Y-C-H-E.
Okay, psych. Yeah, psych.
Psychology.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning that your psyche is the part that carries out your will, your desires,
Yeah.
your plans.
Yeah.
And it receives that message. This is in the winter months, starting with December the 21st, what we call the winter solstice.
Mm-hmm.
So, meaning that the winter time is the most important time, those 3 months is the most important time for you to hand over to your psyche, the psychological part of your being. You see it? With ancient times, they call it your soul. You see that? That's the time that your psyche or your soul receives the message to grow you spiritually and accomplish your goals. You want to change your life. You want to be healthier. You want to make more money. You want to, improve your relationships. Whatever you want to achieve, your psyche is in charge of carrying it out, making it happen. But the time of the year that your cycle is ready for this message, most receptive to this message, are the winter months beginning with December the 21st.
And that's based on our biological clock.
A biological clock. The best time to go to sleep is 11 p.m. The best time to eat your meal, your heaviest meal, is, late midday. You see that the best time for you to cram, for an example, in the morning, mid-morning. The best time for you to study for stimulation, is midday, and so on.
But let me
This is
ask
the
you,
best time for you to do endurance and strength exercises and not hurt your body. It's midday.
midday.
It's called the biological on the books, on the internet, biological clocks,
Wow.
chronobiology and so on.
Because a
And it's
lot
the
of
best
people,
time, huh?
round Nefer, I'm sorry. A lot of people start their day working out early in the morning. So you saying that's not the time to work out? You saying midday we should work out? Like, what if I hit the gym at 6 in the morning? That's not the proper time to hit, based on
No,
my
sir.
biological.
No,
No.
sir. No, sir.
Wow. Okay.
Chronobiology is an ancient science, and there are many books. There are probably some 20 books in the market that you can, biological clocks.
Yeah.
Your not biorhythms, but chronobiology and biological clock that will teach you, the best time for you to best utilize your bodily functions. And the
Wow.
most important function that you have is to become healthier, more powerful, and the time to give that mission to your sight, to your soul, is the winter months, starting with the winter solstice.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have an alarm system that goes off within us that say, hey, this is the best time to eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the best time to exercise.
Yeah.
So you miss it
Yeah.
and you get sick and you never know why. But
Wow.
the thing is, but you don't have an alarm system that tells you, oh, this is the best time of the year for you to tell your psyche that you want to be a millionaire this year. You're going to go for it.
Mm.
You see that? Okay?
Mm.
Because your psyche will work to make it happen. If you tell your psyche to do it during the winter months.
At the right
What you-
time.
Exactly so.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, we get the message. You see
But
that?
listen, hold up. I've been taught by a lot of other people in consciousness or whatever you want to call it that the new year in antiquity started in March, spring. It's the new year. The flowers grow, the sun is out, and everything is blooming. They say that's the new year. Shechem, Shechem. They don't say the winter solstice, they say March. What do you have to say about that?
Well, before you can have a child, that's the spring, the blooming, the coming forth into the world,
Yeah.
you got to plant the seed. And the seed has to stay for a couple of months on the ground.
There you go. There you go. We skipping the process, huh?
And that's why we're in trouble.
Yeah, we skipping. Okay. Oh, that was beautiful. That is beautiful. We skipping the process. Wow. What do you think about, based on, you're talking about time, you're very educated about bio clocks, and I've heard you mention several things in your lectures about I forgot the word, the ley lines of the earth, all types of stuff. What do you think about the idea of humanity implementing in Western culture daylight saving times? How does that throw off the winter solstice, everything we got going on, daylight saving time? Because we go through it every year, a couple of times, 2 times a year, I believe.
Yeah, well, not all nations observe daylight saving time,
Yeah, Western culture, though, Western culture, because we're
Yeah,
both in the
but
West.
there's a healthy discussion about getting rid of it
Yeah.
because they found out it's creating a lot of psychological and health problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are now out of rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
They're out of sync with their biological and psychobiological, clock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're discovering it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, for example, people who work at night,
Mm-hmm.
right, the night shift, they
Mm-hmm.
get a differential wage. They get the 50%, higher wage than the people do the same work during the day.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you work at night when you're supposed to be sleeping, you're going to have more accidents, more illness, and so on. They know it.
Wow.
And that extra money they give you is not worth the damage you're doing to your health
Yeah.
and cutting your longevity short.
Indeed. Wow. So you talk a lot about meditation. Meditation is this huge billion-dollar industry in this country. A lot of the melanated brothers and sisters haven't really tapped into meditation as a lot of other cultures have as yet, due to religion and our in Christianity, not Christianity, but religion has taught a lot of us that meditation has a certain level of evil in it and whatnot. But I want to ask you, a certain level of evil, like it's like meditation is not you know, you're supposed to pray. You don't supposed to meditate. That's what a lot of our people feel as though meditation is something, you know, it's something a little wrong with it or whatever. Same way they feel about astrology and numerology and things like that. What I want to ask you, brother, in terms of meditation, so I guess during this winter solstice, since this is the new year, and you said if you want to be a millionaire, you're supposed to tell your psyche or your soul that around this time. I guess meditation is very important at this time, and that leads us to a lot of things you talk about, like Kundalini yoga and this chakra thing that you talk about. So, how important is meditation during the winter solstice month right now?
Well, I'm going to give you some facts that you can check on the internet, right?
Yes.
Scientists have studied people who meditate a lot, and they found that meditation renews and invigorates the brain, which is the most important tool that you have, your brain. You see that? Okay? We find, for example, that meditation, when you meditate, you enter into a brain wave set that we call the alpha wave, cycle, where the brain slows down its electrical activity to about between 7 and 13 beats per second. And then when the brain is moving, at that level, at that pace, your perception and your cognitive abilities broaden. Your IQ rises. They see that. Okay, in the past 50 years, I've written over 40 books, over 100 musical compositions, all through, the power of meditation. So meditation is a way of you accessing the higher powers of your brain.
Right.
And the thing is that when you want to deal with people telling you don't meditate, look at the quality of their lives, the morality, the intelligence, the accomplishments, and look at ancient Egypt, okay, which is, it's a culture that used meditation to a very high degree. Look at they accomplished the highest level of civilization than any other group of people. You see that?
Indeed. So, one of the things that you talk about that that I'm not too familiar with, I've heard several speakers touch on it vaguely, but you stress that there are 14 chakras instead of 7. So I want to, you have a deep understanding about the history of India, when it got invaded, when certain systems got merged. So a lot of us, like I was even taught around Neferman that the piano notes in the scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, those are 7 notes. Those 7 notes align with the 7 chakras. So when you play the piano notes, you're tapping into each chakra, and then it goes to the next octave again. That's it's the same thing. It's just higher octaves of the same scale. So with my knowledge and a lot of people's knowledge of 7 chakras, 7 piano notes, you're saying there's 14 chakras. Please explain to us where you get this information from, because this is new to a lot of us, my brother.
First of all, the alignment, there's a so-called correspondence between the 7 notes in an octave, and there's really 12 notes and not 7 notes.
No, 7 notes in a scale. There's 12 notes in an octave, but there's 7 notes in a scale.
Well, they depend on what if you talk about the diatonic major scale.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
You talk about 7 notes, right?
Talk about the major scale, yeah.
The diatonic scale.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a pentatonic scale with 5 notes, for example, which is very big in China and the Oriental world and so on. Okay, and when you talk about the 7 notes in the scale, you're talking about, the Western well-tempered clavier system. You're not talking about a universal system. The 7-note scale is a Western invention. When you go all over the world, you find that they have scales with more than 7 notes or less than 7 notes. You see that? Now, the so-called allocation of the 7 diatonic notes of a major scale to the chakras was done by the Rosicrucians, back in the medieval ages. You see that? But that has never been proven. Okay? What has been proven, for example, which explains why the Chinese use a pentatonic scale. Are you a musician, by the way?
Am I what?
A musician.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, so you know the circle of fifths.
Yes, I do. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
right, right. You
C
know,
G D A E B. You just go on fifths. You go on
those
fifths. Yeah.
those five notes that
Yes.
make up the pentatonic scale, the circle of fifths,
Yeah.
the diatonic notes,
Yes.
correspond to the five psychical chakras.
Mm.
You see that?
Mm.
And it's not a scale sequence, it's a cycle of fifth
Fifth
sequence.
sequence. Wow. Okay.
You see that?
Oh.
Okay, where the tonic corresponds to the earth element, the centering element or the tonic within you.
Yes.
You see that? And when you compose your meditation music based on the cycle of fifths,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what psychical chakra to allocate. You
Mm-hmm.
see that to the notes of the circle of fifths. Then you get the psychical effect from these chanted dimensions. But what I want to say to you is this here. If you go, this book called Laya Yoga, Laya Yoga,
Mm-hmm.
okay? It's a book that not too many people that are interested in meditation know about.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably can find it on Amazon for maybe $500-600.
Say
And
that
I
name
bought
one more time. Say that name one more time, my brother.
Laya, Laya Yoga.
Yoga. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably heard of Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga, okay, but not typically heard about Laya Yoga,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I forgot the author's name, but the book gives you all the 14 chakras. You can go and Google the 14 chakras. It's published. This is published information.
Mm-hmm.
The chakras with their mantras and everything and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that we have 5 psychical chakras and 9 spiritual chakras.
Okay.
You see that? And it's published. It's not my, I didn't make this up. This has been documented for thousands of years.
Right.
Part of the shamanic tradition.
Right.
The reason for this is that when the Aryan came into ancient India,
Mm-hmm.
ancient India was a matrilineal society, and God was a goddess in ancient India. So the patriarchal Aryans they cannot vibe with that. So they changed the system and limited to the 5 lower psychical chakras because the 5 lower when we talk about psychical powers, the, the ability for your life force, the Kundalini energy, to generate effects in miraculous effects or mind over matter effects in your life is controlled by the 5 lower chakras, which, the people who invented the so-called 7 chakra system told you that you will control, okay, the 5 psychical chakras with the Ajna chakra, which they incorrectly call the third eye, and the Sahasrara chakra. Nobody ever told you what the mantras of the Sahasrara chakras are. There are 50 mantras in the Sahasrara chakra, and nobody has written a book on how to use that.
Mm. Wow.
And the thing is when I wrote a book, Life on Kundalini Yoga years ago, okay, where I gave the explanation of of 9 of the 14 chakras. I didn't want to give the other 5 chakras. I wanted to put it in a separate book by itself, okay, because it's really a book on psychology,
Right.
yes, and mental psychology and so on.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So the Aryans invade India. They purposely left out certain chakras, dealing with the female aspect of man. What I want to ask you, I'm just because it's like, okay, why would they leave out those chakras? Is it a case of someone hating something because they don't have it? So what they don't have, nobody can have? Is this something that was exclusive to the people that were India in that time? We have invaders, they come through. They don't have access to these chakras, so they gonna hate on it because they don't have access to it. Is this
No,
why?
not really.
Why
The
did
other
they leave
9
these out? Why
The
did
other 9 chakras require for you observe very strict and stringent spiritual rules. The lower 5 chakras, which are the chakras that enables you to manifest mind over matter, does not require spirituality or morality. So it's easier for you to use the 5 lower chakra. You see that? The problem, with it is that, go on Google, go on Amazon, and see how many books, you can find that explains how to use the powers of the chakras, and they're hardly in the books. You see that? Yet, if you get my book, Light of Kundalini Yoga, I give you all the mantras of all the 9 spiritual chakras. You see that? And in my course that I'm giving to the world this year, I teach people how to use, the Guru chakra. You never heard of the Guru chakra, right?
No.
The word Guru is, spiritual teacher, sage, right? So there's a Guru. You have a chakra within you that once you open it up, you're able to get divine guidance intuitively. You see, connect with God's wisdom. Okay, one of the 5 lower chakras, one of the so-called 7 chakras, called the Vishuddha, purifies your lower chakra. You see that? It enables you to transcend, the control that pleasure exerts over you. You see that? Meaning that one of the biggest problems people have today is that they're pleasure bound.
Yes.
They are enslaved to pleasure. They will not do something unless it is pleasurable, and they are addicted to a lot of dangerous and bad pleasures and things of that nature. And the Vishuddha, the word Shuddhi, means to purify. Like in Meditaitons pranayama, when you do that, the alternate modes breathing to purify the energy channels. But you got to do it with the Vishuddha mantra. So you just not simply stop on one nose and breathe in the other. You have to also now empower the Vishuddha chakra to purify the energy channels and so on. So that's part of the so-called 7 chakras. Why haven't they explained that? You see that?
No, definitely.
I can go through, and then one of the so-called 7 chakras that controls people's life is called the Swadhisthana chakra, incorrectly called the sex chakra. Okay, and that's the chakra that empowers your mind to manifest your desires and your life plans. So this is what I teach in this, course on the winter solstice, because come the New Year's, whether you call it December 25th or January 1st, when you start to make pledges for a better life, it's not going to happen through just you writing a piece of paper. I pledge to accomplish so. I pledge to change so and so in my life. You have to go through a deep dive into your soul, with meditations and words of powers, mantras, because that's what your chakras are. That's what they decide. They see that.
My brother Shekum, can you turn your speaker down a little? Can you try turning your speaker down a little?
Okay.
Let me see if that helps the audio. This is real good stuff, man. I'm having a great time. I'm glad you came on here. I really want the people to hear and understand, because I can hear you good, but I just want it to be even better.
Yes, I was concerned about it earlier. How's this now?
Say that again. What you said?
I was concerned about the feedback earlier, and you're still hearing it?
I think that sounds a little better. I think that definitely sounds a little better. I don't know about a lot. Let's keep talking, but that definitely sounds a little better. Let me ask you this. Like I said, great conversation, amazing conversation. I'm glad to have you on here, man. So you said, I asked you that question about the Aryans, and you said that it's harder to tap into these chakras, these feminine chakras. Harder to tap into them. What I want to ask you, in modern times, one of the biggest complaints by women in our society is that men are unable, the man that they are with is unable to tap into his feelings, his emotions, his express himself. articulate how he feels. Is this the same problems the Aryans was having in terms of tapping into these chakras and expressing certain things? Is this a modern time example of what happened in antiquity, my brother?
Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
You,
We're still getting
hello?
this feedback. I don't know, something went worse. Let me see. Are you hearing the feedback?
No, I'm not hearing that right now. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing feedback right now. Your screen got a little blurrier, but I'm
when the
not hearing it
Aryans
right now.
came, you didn't hear that feedback at all?
No, I don't hear feedback. I don't hear feedback.
When But you're not hearing the echo, right?
No, you good. You good to go. I think
Okay.
you good to go, brother.
When the Aryans invaded India, you know, which the tradition, the yogis, they call themselves the Shramans. And the majority of the priestesses were in charge. They had a queen mother, was a matriarchal society. And a lot of the teachings, the powers of the man, what they call the chakras, was, you know, the spiritual female principle, okay? And that's one of the reasons why the system was changed, because the patriarchal Aryans could not tolerate, you know, a female priesthood in charge of the highest teachings of the land. So they changed it up. So what people get into as yoga, especially the meditation part of yogas, you know, is a patriarchal, male-dominated, you know, perspective.
Sorry, I had it on
Oh,
mute. No, I had my mic on mute. One of the things that you said is quite interesting is you talked about the emotion of joy, and you said that joy is solar energy. Could you explain that? We're familiar with solar energy. We're familiar with the sun. The expression of joy, because there's a lot of expressions, but you said joy in particular. Could you elaborate on that, my brother?
in the physical world, sunlight
Yeah,
is what energizes life.
yeah.
You see that?
Uh-huh.
In your being,
Uh-huh.
the emotion of joy
Uh-huh.
has the same, you know, quality as
Mhm.
sunlight does.
Mm.
So if you want to energize your psyche, your thoughts, your visions, imaginations, your physical well-being, cultivate joy to the
Right.
point where you experience eternal joy,
Right.
meaning that you're always joyful and
Right.
nothing can take it away from you. There's
Right.
such an ability, you know, your psyche and your spirit has the ability to remain in a state of joy.
Right.
Joy is not something you associate with sadness and pain or whatever. But the
Mhm.
moment that you have sadness and anger and worry and grief, those are toxic and poisonous. It lowers your IQ. It
Mhm.
damages your health, your vitality. It destroys your visions of success. So there's no place. You have no need for
Mhm.
grief and joy. I mean, grief and worry and anger. You have no need for those things. They're toxic. You know, the medical science has very well documented that these emotions are very destructive to your well-being and to your psychological and social well-being. So you have to learn to master the art of um,
You good. You better now. I seen go ahead. I know what
I
what
see,
was going
I
on.
see another screen says the easiest way to live and record.
You had two things at the bottom of our screen. I just got one on one. That might have been an echo. So keep going. I think you better now. But go, keep going, brother. We
But
can
the,
you
the screen has been replaced by another screen about the easiest way
you good to
to
go, brother.
live.
Don't worry about that. You good to go, brother. I
Okay, so I
think
was saying to your person that, you know, we have the ability to cultivate, you know, unending joy, which we call happiness.
Yeah.
Happiness is a state of perpetual joy that you can achieve through, certain meditation programs, which is part of what I teach.
Indeed. Hey, I want to real quick before I ask the next question, I want to give a shout out because I fixed the audio problem. I want to give a shout out to Centurion. Centurion said him with the magic, Rich. When you said that, my brain went into ways to fix the problem. So if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have figured out how to fix this problem. Centurion, you made me tap into my magic in real time, and everybody got a chance to witness it. Thank you, my brother. And as we continue, one of the things you said, well, let me ask you this. We're talking about chakras. These are energy centers. There's so many different ways people explain chakras. And I don't even know if that's the proper word that you use. I think you may use a different word. What word do you use? And what Westerners use chakras. What word do you use?
Well, I use the word chakras. When I'm speaking about the yogic system. But when I'm speaking about the Kamitic system, I use the word neteru. You see that? What we call neter or neteru in Kemet, the Hindus call chakras in their system, with nuances, that make the understanding different.
So chakras are the gods?
Excuse me?
Chakras are the gods? Ain't the neterus, ain't that the gods in ancient Egypt?
Well, if you use the word gods, you have
deities. Let me use deities. So
gods or deities, you have to free yourself of Western, interpretation of what a deity is.
Yeah.
And what a god is.
Yeah.
You see, because what the Westerner means by gods and deities, they use that word to translate. You see that what we call neter and neteru. You see that? So I would not use the word gods and deities, you see, for the chakras or the neterus. Well, those are Western translation that comes with the Western baggage or misinterpretation, misunderstanding.
Interesting. So are these how would you describe these energy centers in our body using the English language? How can we describe these 14 energy centers that you speak of?
Well, I use the ancient the word I use the Hindu word chakras. Okay.
Well, not a word, but a description. Like some people describe them as vortices, circles. What exactly energy centers? What exactly are they? What are their purpose?
They're metaphysical centers.
In our body.
We have metaphysical energies, throughout our body, throughout our being. Okay, and these are centers that modulate and oversee and control, the flow and function of metaphysical energies within us.
Okay.
Don't forget that, you see, our body is made up of atoms and molecules, but molecules and atoms are broken down into smaller energy waves and particles that goes all the way down, to subatomic energies and subatomic particles, all the way down to quantum factors. And once we go into the quantum level, okay, that's where what we call neteru and chakras operate from.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, interesting. So this is subatomic stuff that we're talking about. Okay, that's what somebody I've heard a couple of people say when people, like, let's say when people get possessed or demonic possession or whatever, things like that, they say the way these entities come through your body is through the chakras. The chakras is the entry point for these entities to come through you. What's your thoughts on that, my brother?
Well, first of all, the majority of people who are so-called possessed by demons are just simply having, mental imbalances that require, medication, herbs, change of diet, and things of that nature. Okay, the majority, for example, one of the medieval Western names for mental disorders, okay, it was insanity. The word insanity means that there's a lack of sanitation within you. So these people were giving enemas and fasted, for many
Wow.
days. And once the body was cleansed, the bouts of so-called insanity, schizophrenia,
Yeah.
and or demonic possession went away.
Lack
So
of
it wasn't,
sanitation. That I like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, inner sanitation. Yeah,
Yeah.
in other words, a lot of these, mental deviation and so-called possession is a result of, auto intoxication from, things from the outside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Like.
you can go the parts that places that you can go in the world that
Mm-hmm.
don't have much of a knowledge of technology, where everything that happens to you, physical and psychological, they ascribe to some demon or something of that nature.
Yeah.
This is the 21st century. We have to, retool our understanding of these things.
Yeah. I like your approach, Elder. I like your approach. I like your approach to this. I like.
Well,
Uh,
I've been working on it for over 50 years now.
yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Let me ask you this. All right. In terms of chakras, I would say, because a lot of people, when it comes to spiritual topics, a lot of people talk about trauma and things of that nature. Um, 4 out of 5 women I've ever had a deep conversation with and have really conversed with, they were impacted by sexual molestation as a child. Like literally 4 out of 5. Like it's like once in a while one wasn't. If you really get to talking to them and know them, how would something like that, if we have a society with the divine feminine where 4 out of 5 was impacted by sexual molestation, how does that impact the chakras? What does that do to the chakras that happened to them as a child? What happens to their chakras by the time they become an adult?
Well, first of all, understand that this what we call the chakras in Western language and science is your psyche,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when you approach the knowledge of the psyche, from the perspective of chakras, then you have 14, well documented and well known faculties of the spirit and the mind that
Mm-hmm.
you can draw
Mm-hmm.
on the, this, that you can leverage techniques for restoring balance. You see that in the you can restore the well-being of these women as well as to bring into society. Okay, because because the men who commit those you know those you know those those cruel things. I don't want to demonize, but it's cruel. Okay, they're also psychologically unbalanced. And the thing is a chakra based therapeutic system would prevent society from going off the rails in that way and provide a means for people to recover from sexual trauma, or it is war, the trauma from war, the PTSD from war, or abuse by the authorities, whatever it is that leaves post-traumatic stress state. As a matter of fact, I wrote a book called stress free for life.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
where I give meditations and dietary suggestions and supplements where people can remove, the remaining stress that follows different traumatic situations. You see that?
yeah, yeah.
So people who have been traumatized in that manner, they need a re-education about their true identity, their self-image. They need to help change the way they think about life and about things, and then they need to use meditation, because meditation is the way to get into the psyche to fix what has gone wrong. You
Mm-hmm.
see that?
Mm-hmm.
If you do not meditate to go deep into your subconscious to fix what has gone wrong, you are going to just be trying to talk,
Right.
help people with positive thinking, and that's not enough. You got to go into the subconscious.
Let me ask you this, brother, since you're so well studied. And you talked about the subatomic world, so you're familiar with quantum physics and you're familiar with the quantum world. And the quantum world says consciousness creates reality. The quantum world does not say subconsciousness creates reality. They say consciousness creates reality. My thing is, what about the subconscious? What does if we have a conscious and they're saying conscious creates a reality? Talk to me about the subconscious based on your studies. What did the ancestors in antiquity have to say about the subconscious instead of because we hear about the conscious creating reality according to quantum physics. So talk to me about subconscious according to the ancestors in antiquity.
Reality, what we call reality, is something that occurs in different levels.
Yeah.
And the subconscious is the lowest and the fundamental level of reality.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And consciousness can and has the power to impact the subconscious, because the subconscious is not self automated. You see that it has to be set in motion by consciousness.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the consciousness has to meet the subconscious on the level of the subconscious.
Yes.
You see that what we call consciousness can operate on all levels of reality, but the subconscious has to remain subconscious to be subconscious. You're following that, right?
Ooh, okay.
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 Are you with me here? I'm
Yes,
not losing
sir.
you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the art and science of meditation is to take your consciousness into the depths of your soul, the depths of your spirit, because that's the foundation of reality.
Yeah. Man.
When you say you're a musician, what instrument do you play?
Piano.
Okay, I'm a pianist also. I was a piano major through my school of music.
Excellent.
Okay. Now, when you practice something over and over and over, what you're doing is that you are transmitting, what you know on a conscious level into your psyche, the subconscious within you.
Okay.
So that once you get to the point where you can play something, execute something accurately and faster than you can think consciously, is because you have transformed, you have transmitted that conscious knowledge into your subconscious, what we incorrectly call muscle memory.
So muscle memory is subconscious.
That's correct.
Ooh, let's go. Oh, yes, let's go. Okay. Yeah. Muscle memory is the subconscious. Okay, come on. Okay, brother.
And a good musical performance is a marriage between, conscious effort and subconscious action. You see that? But it has to be mostly subconscious than conscious. Because the subconscious can think faster than consciousness. And all the most accurate, the most complex, maneuvering is carried out by the subconscious itself. But consciousness has to program it.
Does consciousness... okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Does consciousness do any action, or is all action subconscious? And all conscious do is programming. Conscious is the computer programming, and subconscious does all the action. Is that how it works? How does this work?
That is correct. You see, in other words, you use consciousness to learn how to walk, and once you learn how to walk, you walk subconsciously without thinking about it.
Yeah. Damn, brother. Where you been at, man? Where you been at all these years, man? Where you been? I know you've been around. I'm just messing with you.
Waiting for you.
I like that response. Woo, this brother's fire, man. I got to get you back on. We only got about 20 more minutes, but I got to get you back on here again. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Got to get you back on. Let me ask you this, a personal question that you are obviously a elder full of wisdom. I want to ask this to you. When I meditate a lot, like let's say just since I was about 20 years old, I noticed this. I didn't know how to articulate it, but I noticed it. Then eventually I was like, why do I do this? Let's say I'm in my home or my apartment or wherever. If I meditate, I would always walk counterclockwise. So you have 12, you have clockwise and you have counterclockwise. But I always seem to walk counterclockwise. It wasn't a conscious thought put into it. It was just a subconscious action, since we're talking about subconscious action. But to this day, I still notice when I meditate and I'm really deep in thought, I'm rubbing my hands. I don't know what that's about. I will walk counterclockwise. Is there any explanation from your teachers that you could tell me about that, my brother?
You notice that in a horse race, the race is counterclockwise too, right?
I didn't know that. No, I don't watch. No. I didn't know that.
Okay, when you watch athletes racing, running the speed, and it's counterclockwise also.
Like Hussein Bolt and all of them.
It's all counterclockwise.
I didn't know that. Come on, man. God damn it. Oh my God. I did not know that, my brother. Wow. Please explain that. I never put 2 and 2 together. Please explain that. Yeah, because you're right. They be like, yeah, you're right. Explain that to me, please.
You see, our body, and our mind and our psyche, right? The soul, what we call the soul, the psyche, okay, is operates on various electromagnetic levels in a cyclical manner. And that cyclical rotation goes counterclockwise.
Okay.
You see that? Okay. And the same thing happens with the Earth, with its movement around its axis and around the sun. It goes counterclockwise as well, I mean, the Earth itself turns, clockwise, but the reference makes it look counterclockwise, and the inner part within us tries to keep up with, maintain that relationship.
Yeah. Wow. Listen, before we continue, they're begging for your contact information. Tell the people, I know you got a program that's going on. I think it's starting tomorrow, and I know you got a lot going on. Shekem. Tell them your contact information before we continue and wrap up the show in about 10 minutes, my brother, please.
Okay, so my website, they can contact me through my website, which is Kamitic Legacy. That's KAMITLEGACY, KamiticLegacy.com. Kamitic, KAMITIC, Kamitic Legacy, LEGACY.com.
Yeah.
And that way you can, learn more about what we're speaking about, the winter solstice and so on.
And they want to know
about to unpack here, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, my brother. Good. I know you got more to. Yeah, good. And tell them about your program, because you got a program. Tell them about that. What's this?
Well, the program, like I said earlier, that when people celebrate the new year, what it is, December 25th, the last day, the first day following the end of the solstice, or January the 1st, there's this general consensus that this is a time for you to make pledges to be a better person, to have more wealth, to be healthier, to improve your relationships, okay, to go for that great thing that deep inside of you can accomplish. But you cannot give the mandate to your psyche to execute that pledge, that vision, that mission. You see that you need to, have a meditation program that is based on the understanding of the mind and the psyche and the spirit, because those are the inner faculties that are responsible for your accomplishments in this world. That, not doing this is why people say that, every year they pledge for a better life, but they do not keep up with their pledges. You see, the thing is that when you pledge, you have to ask the question, who am I pledging to? Who am I being accountable to? You see that? And the thing is that you need a meditation system that puts you in touch with the greatest source of success in the world, which is God, the Supreme Being. You see that? It's not enough for you to say, I believe in Supreme Being. There are certain, requirements that you must meet, in order to get help from God. So I put a course together where people can establish a very deep and strong connection with God, and how to purify their psyche, their chakras, which are their power and energy centers, because nothing happens in this universe without energy. But you see, your energy centers become clogged up, you see, by emotionality and the wrong and nurturing the wrong emotions and things of that nature. So so I have a course that starts tomorrow. Okay, the sooner people start it, the better. But they have up until the beginning of February to start the program. It's a 21, but it's a monthly program. You do it for 3 months, but if you only get it in for 1 month of the 3 months of the winter, you will get good results.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm definitely gonna be binging. You know how people binge on Netflix and these shows? I'm gonna be binging on your material for the next couple of days, brother. I'm very interested in more of what you have to say. I mean, you said some amazing things this interview. Let me ask you this, my brother. So maybe I should put this on the screen. Let me ask you this, because I'm loving I'm loving what you're saying about the 14 chakras and explaining the invasion that happened, and the certain chakras being left out and why they were left out. So listen, round Neferman. In Western culture, 7 chakras represent. You can hear me, right, brother?
I'm hearing you.
Yes, sir. I need you to listen to this now, my brother, because it's going to get good. Root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown. That's the 7 chakras that we were taught. If we have 14, can you please tell us what the 14 chakras represent, my brother?
Well, 9 of the 14 chakras are your spiritual faculties. Got that?
Yes, sir.
5, the other 5 are your psychical faculties. The five psychical faculties execute your plans, your projects, your desires, your will, and so forth. The 9 spiritual chakras, 2 of them are the dwelling places of your consciousness. Okay? And the other 7 of them, spiritual 7 chakras, are the means through which you communicate with God and regulate the behavior and of the 5 psychical faculties. You see that? The five psychical faculties. Take, for example, the lowest one, the so-called sacral chakra, the Swadhisthana. That's a source of fear. And fear is the foundation of all your negative emotions.
Right.
So if you do not purify and that chakra, if you do not regulate it, your life will be dominated by fear and the anger and worry that follows fears. You see that? So the question is, how do you regulate and make that Swadhisthana chakra do good things for you? Because it's also the source of your psychical power. Okay? You fix the problems with the Swadhisthana chakra, the so-called sacral or sexual chakra. In other words, if you don't fix that chakra, you will be controlled by lust, for example, by greed, okay, by the pleasure principle, and so on. And the way to purify that chakra is through the other 9 spiritual chakras. You with me?
Yes, sir.
In other words, for example, one of the 9 chakras that were left out of the so-called 7 chakras is the Guru chakra. And the Guru chakra is, the mantra is Hung, H-U-N-G. And once you awaken that chakra, you will be, it's a portal for you to receive guidance directly from God. Yes, that's called intuition. If you don't live by intuition, then you live by animal instinct.
Yes, sir.
See, you have these 2 inner sources of guidance: intuition, which is divine and spiritual, or instinctive, which is animalistic, and human. So if you want to escape the instinctive part of your being, and awaken the intuitive part of your being, you have to work with the other 9 chakras that were left out. Take, for example, the Manipura, so-called solar plexus, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the chakra that is responsible for the brutality and war and the testosterone gone wild in men. When that Manipura chakra, the word Manipura, so-called solar plexus,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Mani,
Mm-hmm.
okay, means, jewels,
Yes.
riches, wealth. And
Mm-hmm.
Pura means a city, a place. So the Manipura chakra is a chakra that when it is activated, it guides you to accumulate riches, mundane riches in the world. You see that? But
Yes.
when you don't, if you awaken that chakra without awakening the other 9 spiritual chakras, you will then use all kind of, illegal means to accumulate that wealth. You see
Mm-hmm.
that? Meaning that the 5 lower chakras of the so-called 7 chakra system corresponds to your animalistic nature,
Right.
but they're also the source of your psychical power.
Yes. Hey,
Okay?
Rob, my brother, what's the difference between me meditating and let's say me entering a trance state, tapping into the higher dimensions through meditation, just meditation, and me tapping into these higher states by using mushrooms, ayahuasca, let's say marijuana, different substances that some people call bad, some people call good. It's subjective, but some people use these substances to tap into these higher states. Some people sit on their ass and just tap into these higher states by sitting on their couch and meditating in a certain position. What's the difference on the psyche, the body, and the soul, my brother?
Okay, first of all of these drugs that you mentioned are secreted by the brain itself. Is that clear to you? The
Yeah,
opioids
yes,
and
yes,
all of these
sir.
drugs are secreted by your own brain.
Yes, sir.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So it is safer for you to learn to meditate, okay, in a manner where your brain and your nervous system produces and secretes these drugs to bring about these states. Because once the body secretes it, then the body can control it and harmonize it and so forth. Because every chemical within you has an antagonistic chemical.
Uh-huh.
You see that the body is able to oppose and maintain the balance and so forth. When
Right.
you bring the drug from the outside, then the regulatory, system in the brain,
Mm-hmm.
goes out of whack, cannot handle it. And
Mm-hmm.
that is why some people, lose control of
Mm-hmm.
themselves when they
Right.
when they make the effort to attain these trance states through the use of these, chemicals.
Right.
You
Right.
see that?
Definitely.
Okay. And the thing is that okay, the reason that most people do not get to these levels with meditation is that you have to learn to meditate with the different mantras, just not simply sit down quietly. That's not
Mm-hmm.
meditating.
Oh,
Yeah. You have to breathe a certain way, a
yeah.
certain rate, you have to breathe a certain way through the lower diaphragm, okay,
Right.
a certain pace,
Yeah.
and then with certain sounds,
Yeah.
and then sometimes with certain, colors,
Ooh.
okay, certain, aromatherapy, oils and so forth. So
Yeah.
it's just not simply sitting down. People think that meditation is just sitting down quietly. No, there's a whole science behind it.
So
But you
you.
want to be safe. I know of people who have fried their brains off with these drugs, the
Yeah.
mushrooms and things
Yeah.
of that nature, and so on. You take, for example, the American Indians, the Hopis and so forth, the
Yeah.
Chiriquai and so forth. They use these mushrooms, whatever, but not everybody in the nation uses it. Only the shamans who are trained, and know how to use it and how to neutralize it with other herbs. Let's take a simple example. For example,
Mm.
coffee, is very useful, to help energize the brain for intellectual work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also, overstimulate you and create behavioral problems and sleep problems that can affect your health and things like nature.
Mm-hmm.
So people who advocate coffee also know that you can use chamomile, for example, to neutralize and detoxify the coffee from your system.
Mm-hmm.
Or homeopathy we call nux vomica. So
Mm-hmm.
every yang has its yin, every yin has its yang, every substance has its antagonist. And so using these drugs, for healing purposes and so forth must be done with the understanding, with the knowledge of the antagonist so that you can, set things in order if you went too far. And the problem is that most people, experimenting with the mushrooms and so forth, they don't know what the heck they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Unfortunately,
know that.
unfortunately, yeah, yeah. Um, I guess I got two more questions for you before we
Yes,
get out
sir.
of here. In terms of tapping into certain chakras, you talking about us working on a bio clock. We hear about the circadian rhythm. We're supposed to eat at a certain time, go to sleep at a certain time to get the optimum level of sleep. I've heard you talk about that. In terms of, like, let's say my heart chakra, humanity is suffering from not being able to tap into their heart. You seeing the way things are. Is there a certain time of the day that the heart chakra is most active, where humanity could say, "Oh, it's such and such time. I need to focus on my heart chakra so we could become a better species"? Does it work like that, my brother?
It doesn't work like that. For you to fix your heart chakra, which is called the anahata,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you can learn to be function in a very harmonious manner with your fellow woman and fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
Takes at the very least, a 3-month meditation course.
Wow.
It's not something that you're going to put in place by observing some
Hey.
mantra or affirmation at a particular time of the day. So we're living at a time when people, have trivialized these ancient teachings and think that they are going to, help people with these affirmations that you repeat, at different times of the day, for a minute or two. These are people who are trying to make money and fame for themselves.
Let me.
That's it. Our spirituality is much more complex than psychology. If you study with me, you will be enrolling in a course that goes from, let's say, the 12th grade in high school to a PhD.
Let me ask you this. Last thing I want to ask you, Elder. What is it about? You said 90-day meditation course. What is it about 90 days? You get a job, they say, "Hey, you're on probation for 90 days." And a lot of people, they have to behave for 90 days. And if they can make it past 90 days, they get the job. What is the science behind around 90 days, where after you make it do something for 90 days, you seem like you're proficient in it, you're expert on it, or you're just, you're able to really do it? What is it about this 90-day period, my brother?
Because behavioral change requires, certain brain centers to process the information.
Yeah.
It's that you can think that you're proficient in something because you have not come across a life situation, a life crossroad that challenges you, okay, that truly challenges you.
Right.
You see that?
Right.
And the thing is that not everything is, nobody ever says that you need 90 days, but for certain things you need 90 days because the cycle of achievement of
Mm-hmm.
goal realization is based in 4 quarters of the year, and there are 3 months in every quarter. You see that? Meaning the Swadhisthana chakra governs the first 90 days of the
Oh,
year, the Anahata the next 90 days of the year, the
that's
Manipura along with the Herit the next 90 days,
uh-huh.
and the Muladhara the next
Is
90
it like
days, and the Vishuddha is the regulator that enables the movement from one chakra cultivation of one chakra into the other, and and purifies and so on. So the thing is that the 90-day behavioral change thing has to do with the period where each chakra oversees. You see that? Because you have these 5 chakras, these 5 cyclical chakras, and each one of them governs 90 days of the year.
Interesting, very interesting. 90, 180, 270, and 360. Right there. That's okay.
And the thing is, if you study the human gestation period, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think it's 3 times 90 days cycle.
Yeah.
The woman carries the child in her, in the womb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That when you study spirituality and esoteric sciences, you're gonna come across a doctrine of what they call sacred numbers and sacred geometry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you see, God creates the world, in a scientific, according to scientific principles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the scientific world is controlled by mathematics and geometry.
Yes, sir.
You see that?
Yes, sir.
So do not be surprised when you find that certain things conform to certain, numerical periods and cycles and geometric and algebraic, relationships.
Hey, listen, Elder Neferman, Shechem. Listen, man, I had a great time tonight. Amazing. Before you get out here, one more time, leave the people your contact information, your website, and your program. Anything you got coming up, programs, anything. Everybody's going to sign up to everything, brother. I'm gonna let you know that we have 1,900 people right now. We got 1,900 people in here right now. Everybody's going to sign up to everything you got going on, brother. You absolutely you did a magnificent job. Thank you for having you on here. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to leave the audience to understand that this is the time of the year when your psyche, is ready to accept the commands for your vision, your missions, for you to reset your life, for you to, to declare to your psyche to make you wealthier, healthier, a better person, for you to go after your spiritual goals, your mundane goals. Okay, your psyche will not be receptive, past March the 21st. That's what we move into another period. That's the spring equinox period, and you have 3 months to do that work. Then you have the summer solstice on June the 21st, which is 180 degrees from the winter solstice. So take advantage of the next 3 months, starting as best as possible, as soon as possible, to work on giving direction to your psyche to change your life, to improve your life. And I have a course that will enable you to do that, because you just cannot write on a piece of paper a pledge and burn it or throw it in the garbage, or just simply, say a few words, because cocks crowing to heavens, do not make the sun come up. You have to meditate, with a program. And you will, and I created one, but we've been doing it, my people have been doing it for 45 years now.
Wow.
You see that, and you can come to Kamitic Legacy. That's Kamitic. That's Kamitic Legacy. Legacy. KamiticLegacy.com, and that way you can get more information about this course. You see, and so you can help yourself.
Hey, once again, thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. I'm gonna talk to you soon, because I want to get you on here sometime early in the new year again. And I can't thank you enough. It's been magnificent. I totally enjoyed myself. I learned so much tonight. Family, thank you. A lot of y'all. We had about 2,000 people in here tonight. Thank you for everybody for joining us, tuning in. This is Brother Rich, Shechem Ra'un Nefer Amen. His info is also in the description. We signing out, family. See you next time. Peace.
Thank you so much.
Peace,
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Peace, my brother.